Universal Studios Orlando Islands of Adventure tier list. We're going to go over the rides. We're going to rank them. I've got some prereqs. Listen, I've been a pass holder for a couple years. I live in Florida my whole life. I've been to Universal. Let's just say that. I've been on these rides quite a lot of times. I've got some experience, so I feel very qualified to talk about this. So let's quit yapping and let's get right into this list. All right, so right off the bat, they're starting us off with the OG of OGs, the only ride that is still there from when the park opened in who knows when, 1991? Now I gotta look it up. Oh, I was really close. Okay, 1990. So ET has been there since the beginning of the park, and there's some deal with Steven Spielberg where essentially as long as he's alive, that ride will still be at Universal Orlando. All of the other original rides are gone, and I'm very glad that they kept ET because it feels like the most nostalgic ride there. I mean, technically it is. First of all, you got ET smell, which if you know, you know. Second of all, the scenes that they made in that ride feel so good to be in. Like you've got the forest, you've got flying over the city, you've got the fun and vibrant like ET land, the green planet. Everything about that ride is designed so well. And I know it's old and maybe like the ceilings creak sometimes when you're flying through on your bikes, but like it's one of the best dark rides I feel. And it's definitely S tier at Universal, S tier everywhere. That ride should be there forever because it's so good. And they say your name at the end sometimes. What other ride personally calls you out by your name? Yeah, I can't see this being anywhere else except for S tier. It's an experience and it's amazing. Next up, we have the Hulk. This one is relatively hard for me to rank. It was my first like real roller coaster I'd ever been on, and it is extremely thrilling. However, recently, I would say like 75% to 80% of the time that I go on that ride, I leave it in severe pain. Like it rattles me in some way that just kills my neck. And it's unfortunate because I really do like the ride. And being like front row on that ride too is an amazing experience. The launch is awesome. I do feel like I pass out a little bit every single time because if you launch during the day, you're in this dark tunnel, and then as soon as you launch out, it's all of the sunlight in your eyes. And I feel like that dark to light real quick makes me like lose it for a second. But like I said, I am kind of in pain from this ride pretty often, almost every single time now. I feel like I'm in pain. Am I just getting older? Maybe. But I don't know. The last time I was there, I had some pain in my neck before going on the ride, and it did make my pain go away. It shook me enough to get the pain, the original pain out of my neck. So that is a W. If you have neck pain, maybe go on this ride. It's definitely either A or B. I think in terms of the ride itself, it's an A. I think recently, to me, because of the neck pain that it's given me, it's gonna go in the B tier category. If I go to Universal and I don't hit Hulk, I'll be okay. That's why it's in the B category. I hope the Hulk fan club doesn't get mad. Next up, Spider-Man. Ooh, this is also really good. Man, they're starting with the hard hitters here. E.T., Hulk, and Spider-Man. I will be honest, Spider-Man is a ride that if I'm at Islands of Adventure, I feel like I have to hit it every single time. I feel like I do. It's definitely an A. The question is, does it go to S? This is harder than I thought. I think for now I'm going to put it in S. I think I am. It's thrilling. It's a dark ride. There's water elements. There's fire elements. The fire's the best part. It's just an all-around fun ride. I feel like it's S tier. It's a great dark ride. E.T. and Spider-Man are the two GOAT dark rides of the two parks. I'm going to leave it in S. I think E.T.'s better, but I will leave it in S. Next up, we have Fearfall. I'm just going to say it. I hate drop towers. They're not fun. You just go up and down. I guess seeing like the city is pretty cool and the views you get. But that's not enough to get me to ride. I've only ridden it once. I was forced on it and I didn't really like it. It's fine, but I never want to go on it. There's never a day where I will ever be like, I'm going on Fearfall. For that, it's an F tier. I think though, for people that like drop towers, it's probably fine. But for me, it's like I don't need to hit this ever. I've done it once. You just go up and down. I don't like drop towers. There's nothing more I can explain. Ripsaw Falls. This one is fantastic. There's a million drops. I don't even really know the cartoon at all, but it's fun. It's immersive. I love the little story they tell. And the drop at the end is, it's leagues better than like Splash Mountain at Disney. The only issue I have with this ride, and I guess if you're going on a water ride, maybe you want this, but like you get soaked. Like you get like to the bone soaked. There's not a chance that you go on this ride and you leave even damp. Like you are dripping wet. And then the annoying part is then your shoes are wet, your clothes are wet, you want to get a dryer, they don't work all that well, they cost money. So the ride itself is definitely like S tier, A tier, but You get too soaked in my opinion. So I think it's going to be B tier with Hulk. Again, both incredible rides, but the consequences of riding those rides is unfortunately too big for me to negate in my rating. I love it. I'm not going to go on it every time. It's got to be 90 degrees for me to get in there, but it is an amazing water ride, I will say. Even though it is in B tier, just like Hulk, great ride. Okay, so this is Popeye's River Rapids, I believe. Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barges. Crazy name. This isn't bad. This is a fun water ride. This one, there is a chance that you don't get wet. Now, there is the chance because people on the bridge above you can spray you and they can really get you. I think it's a fun ride. I don't think it's as fun as Ripsaw Falls. I'm gonna put it in C category, but it's a fine ride. Nothing too crazy. Okay, Jurassic Park River Adventure. Now this one definitely goes above the other water rides, and I think it's gonna go in A tier because this is also just a super classic, great ride. But now that I'm thinking about it, the Orlando one isn't very well kept. I think it could be an A tier, and I think like the ride itself and the structure of it is A tier. I think it's not very well kept. Obviously the dinosaurs are looking a little rough at times. Sometimes the gate's there, sometimes the gate's not there. And especially seeing online about what Universal in Hollywood did, where their river ride has been kind of upgraded and it looks really good. I feel like I can't put this in A tier because the quality hasn't lasted. It's kind of been sadly in regression. I don't know what Universal's plans are for the upkeep of the ride, if they ever do plan on upgrading it to the modern version of Jurassic World. I wouldn't mind keeping it Jurassic Park and just still upgrading it to make it look better, but either way, I feel like something does have to happen for it to reach A tier again, because I feel like at its soul, it's an A tier ride. I'm gonna drop it down to B. I'm gonna put it in front of the other two, but the upkeep has led it to drop to a B, unfortunately. River Adventure also is nice because you're not necessarily going to get absolutely drenched. There's a chance that you just get a light spritz on that big drop. Most of the time you're going to get relatively wet, but not enough to where you need a dryer, which is clutch, and just enough to where like, oh yeah, I got wet on a water ride. This is, I don't know how to say it. It's the name of a dinosaur. I'm not even going to try, but it's the one for the kids. I've never been on it. I don't have a child, and I've never stolen a child. I'm not going to rank it. I can't. It's not F tier because I'm sure it's great, but I can't put on the others because I have no experience. It's not going. Cat in the Hat. Oh man, another great dark ride. Cat in the Hat's nice because the wait time is always like 5 minutes and it's like the perfect rush of air conditioning that you need if it's hot outside. It's actually kind of scary, kind of freaky. It is a kid's ride, but they do make it quite entertaining to say the least. I'm going to have to say, man, I'm looking at all these B tier rides and I'm now thinking maybe they should be in A tier because they are really good rides. I'm going to put it right here for now. I'm going to put it right there, actually. We're going to put it in front of these two ones that leave you in pain and soaking wet. Yeah, I think Cat in the Hat does belong right behind River Adventure. If these all move up to A tier by the end of the video, forgive me. Next up, we have One Fish, Two Fish. This is actually kind of fun. It's not like a traditional spinny up-down ride because you kind of have to listen and pay attention to what they're saying. Otherwise, you're going to get wet because it sprays you if it tells you like time to go up and you don't go up. So for that reason, it's actually, again, not a bad kids ride. Seuss Land is heavily underrated, I will say. I'm going to put it in C tier though. It is, at the end of the day, a kids ride. I'm not going to do it at all, really. Like rarely I will do this ride, but it is a good ride. It's not F tier. It's fun. The Carousel. It's nice. It's a carousel. Nothing too crazy. Still not F tier, but it's bottom of the barrel C tier. It's a kid's carousel. Speaking of crazy, we do get into Men in Black now, which is one that I kind of do have to hit every time. Man, this is so hard. The difference between S tier and A tier is tricky because I kind of put Men in Black with Spider-Man. Man, I don't know. This is tough. Men in Black is really good. I would be really sad if they took it out. It's a perfect shooting ride. The Men in Black theme is incredible. The fact that like you have 3 tiers of like winning after you finish the ride is also incredible. Man, I feel like that's an S tier. Where it goes between these is tough. I think I'm going to put it ahead of Spider-Man because you're shooting. There's an element where you're actually reacting with the ride. So I think I'm going to put it there. Men in Black is fantastic. Gotta hit it every time. Storm Force Accelerators. Can't lie. I've never done it. Doesn't seem like my type of ride. Not trying to get sick. It's going to go in F tier for me. Even though I haven't ridden it, I feel like I don't need to. Next up is the Mummy, and I'm telling you straight away, this is an S tier ride, and in fact, it's going in front of all of the other rides in S tier. The Mummy is an incredible dark coaster. I feel like I'm gonna die on it every single time. Like, genuine, there is fear in my body because the amount of times that ride has gotten stuck or like slightly delayed to where the timing of things doesn't match what's actually happening in the ride is quite often. Honestly, it's been slightly messed up probably more times than it hasn't been slightly messed up, and it's kind of rare when it feels like it runs perfect. But I think that adds the element of excitement to this ride. It may not run smooth every single time, but that makes it more exciting and more thrilling in a sense, because I also know at the end of the day, I'm going to be fine no matter what. It's a universal ride, like I'll be safe. But like the last time I rode that ride was probably the scariest it's ever been. The fire room, which is a favorite of mine. I do enjoy the fire room. We got stuck in there and the fire was there and I was like, man, this might be the end of us. We might die in here. My only complaint is I wish it was longer. I think it's a great ride. I wish there were more drops and stuff on the roller coaster side of things. And I wish it was just like maybe a minute longer. That might be a crazy take. I don't know how long the ride actually is, but it's S tier. It's fantastic. You have to do the Mummy every single time. Also, sorry if I sound really stuffed up. The pollen levels right now are off the charts, and I also have my cats sleeping on my lap, so a lot of allergens. Next up, we have High in the Sky Trolley. This one is fun. The wait time is always way too long for what it is. It's super chill. You get some great views. There's 2 different paths. I also feel like one of the paths I haven't been on in like multiple times of being on this ride, which is a shame because I feel like I like that one better. But either way, it's a nice ride. It's nothing crazy. It's definitely going to be in the C tier. I'm going to put it above all of them though, because I would rather ride this than any of these. And like there's definitely a chance that I will ride this ride because it's very chill and great views. Okay, but now this is making me think maybe these should all be in A tier and this should be in B tier. And I think I have, and I think I did mess up. So I think we're going to move these to A tier, promotion. This one's going to go B tier because it's not bad. Here we go. I like this. This looks a lot better to me. Next up is the Simpsons ride. You're in a little box and you kind of watching a little movie and you kind of move a little bit. This is awful. This is a terrible ride. Not fun. Super dated. It's a shame because the Simpsons land is actually really cool and it's very well themed. But their main ride is just so lackluster and just not fun or exciting. And to me, it's F tier. It is F tier for sure. And it's the better of the F tier rides, but it's still F tier. There's no reason to ride it. I rode it once and I was like, yep, that's it. That's all I need. Not good. So we can get rid of that, Universal, if you want. Next up is Rip Ride Rocket, soon to be Rip Ride Rocket, because they're getting rid of it. This one used to be cool. Then they got rid of like all of the music and all of the good music. So you kind of lost that fun vibe of listening to like a really cool song when you were going up there. I will say I was also always left with a crazy headache after this ride. And this ride got stuck way too many times for my liking. I'd see so many times like on like a Facebook group or something, Rip Rocket stuck at the top. And it's like, I'd rather not get stuck at the top. It's a good coaster. It's cool that you kind of go through the city of New York there and all the walls. It's fun. It used to be better and it hurts my neck. It's gonna be... I'm thinking maybe C tier because of how far it dropped off, and it's one that I just don't really want to ride. I'm gonna put it above the other ones, but it's fallen off and it's going away. So I hope whatever takes its place is better. All right, next up is Forbidden Journey. This ride is great. Fun ride. Love the elements of real and then screen. I feel like there's a lot of dead pixels on the screen quite often, which is a little upsetting, but it's great. One time when I was riding it, this has only happened once, and it was fantastic. But I was riding it, and we got to the end, and instead of going to like the portal area where you get off, right before that last room, we got sent to a different area. I guess like a holding area. I have no idea. But then the worker came out, and they were like, "You guys weren't supposed to go there, but you did. How do you guys feel about going again?" And we're like, all right. So we just stayed on it and they brought us through again. So we got to go on it twice, which was very fun. I'm going to put it in A tier. I think it's a fantastic ride. And like I said, the ride mechanics are cool. The reel to screen is cool. All of the practical effects. I wish the Dementors who follow you and take your picture and then you show up in the smoke. I wish that would happen more often, but it's a cool element. A tier ride. Next up is Flight of the Hippogriff. This is a children's roller coaster. It's quite a fun ride for being like a kid's coaster. It doesn't hurt my neck. But I am going to put it in B tier. I feel like it's solid. If the wait time is low, yeah, I'll hop on. Why not? And it'll go to the top of B tier. All right, next up at Universal Studios, we have Minion Mayhem. Minion Mayhem theater ride. They got rid of the 3D element a while back. Honestly, great story. Makes me feel a little emotional with the present and Gru. It's a sweet ride. Nothing too crazy, nothing spectacular. I'm going to put it in B tier. I think it's great. Not a bad ride. Not going to go on it every single time, but if the wait time's low, might as well. Transformers. Okay, so Transformers is like Universal Studios Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man on like drugs. Like it is so overwhelming. There's so many noises, so many sudden movements. It's a lot to take in, I will say. The slow-mo parts are really cool. I will give it to them. They killed it with the slow-mo parts. Besides that, it's a little hectic. It's a little much. I don't think it's as good as Spider-Man. Obviously, Spider-Man's an S tier. I'm going to put this in B tier. It's fun. It's way too overstimulating for me, but the slow-mo parts do give it the brownie points. I'm going to put it below Flight of the Hippogriff because the wait times for this are always stupid high and they don't need to be. Next up, honestly, I don't even know what this one's called. It's another Simpsons Land ride where you spin, and we all know where spinning goes. Definitely F tier. It's going to go above the other one because I think the theming is a bit cooler, but there's no need for me to be on that ride. Next up, we have the train, which isn't really a ride, but I guess technically it is. It's a fun, entertaining way to go from park to park. I wish there was air conditioning on the train. It's kind of stuffy in there, and I don't know why they didn't think of that. It is a nice way to have a seat to get from park to park, but I'm not losing my mind if I miss it. Also, the wait times are usually pretty long. It's going to go C tier. Actually, I'm seeing that I put High in the Sky in B tier, so I think I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier. Because it's not bad by any means, and like I'll definitely do it, but it's sometimes the wait time is not worth the train ride. Next is Gringotts. Gringotts, another ride with pretty high wait times. This one is fun. I like it. I like the story. I just wish there was a more roller coaster. There's way too much screen and too much movement from left to right without any verticality. I just wish it was more roller coaster. I feel like it goes by too quickly with only one drop at the start, and that's pretty much it. If there was more roller coaster to it, this would be definitely top of the top A tier, maybe even S tier. Because of the lack of roller coaster elements, it's still gonna be an A tier because it is a good ride, but it's not gonna hit the S tier that probably a lot of people think it should hit. It's gonna go with the other Harry Potter attraction there, but behind it. I do think Forbidden Journey is a better ride. Skull Island, Reign of Kong. I remember back when this ride used to have scare actors in the queue, and once I found that out, I was like, oh, there's no need to go on this ride again. That is not fun. And don't get me wrong, I love Horror Nights. I go every single year, but I don't want Horror Nights in my queue. I'm not prepared for that. This ride used to be better too. They got rid of the outdoor element, which was really cool, and it definitely introduced the story way better than it does now. Also, if you're at the very front of the bus, the experience is honestly not that great. It's way better to be near the back where you can really see everything. So seating definitely plays a big part of how you feel after the ride. Wait times are also usually stupid high for this one. Don't know why. It's gonna go B tier. It is cool. I like being in the forest. The screens are really good. The smell, you can really kind of smell the forest. The Kong animatronic at the end is incredible. It's massive. It really brings a different element to the ride. So I guess that does make it a little bit higher for me than other things. Because of the scale of the ride, I'm going to put it above Flight of the Hippogriff. It'll stay below Despicable Me though. All right, maybe it'll go ahead of Despicable Me because the ride elements are cooler than just sitting in a theater, but it's still nothing to write home about. Used to be better. Next up is New York. Race to New York with Jimmy Fallon. People hate on this ride. I think it's kind of fun. Kind of feels like you're in Mario Kart, you're riding through the city, and then you're in space, and then you're in underwater tunnels. It's kind of cool. It's very creative. It's another theater ride, so obviously that loses some brownie points, but it's not bad. I enjoy myself when I go on it. Wait times are always relatively low as well, which helps. I'm not going to be upset if I don't go on it, but it's not a bad ride. I think I'm going to put it right behind Kong. I like the physical aspects of Kong a bit more than just the screen at Jimmy Fallon, but in terms of the ride itself, I do think it is relatively fun. All right, everybody's favorite ride, Fast and Furious. This ride is awful. It's the worst ride I've ever been on. I'm gonna put it above Fearfall just because, okay, actually I'm not. I can't. I don't like Fearfall. I'd probably rather ride Fast and Furious over Fearfall just because I don't like drop towers. And I would also probably ride it over the two spinning rides because I don't like spinning. But just because of how bad a ride it is, it's bottom of the barrel F. It is just like the most underwhelming ride. The build up, the queue is better than the ride itself. There is nothing redeeming about this ride. There's nothing exciting, nothing fun, terrible screens, not thrilling, not exciting. Not sure why this ride isn't gone. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to the park. Nobody likes it. I don't know why it's still there. It needs to go, and that's all I got to say about it. I don't even want to... I'm giving myself a headache thinking about that ride. It just makes me mad. Next up, Hagrids Motorbike Adventure, one of the newest rides to the park. This one should be to no surprise, S tier ride above the Mummy. This is an incredible ride. If you have not ridden this, you got to get yourself to Universal Orlando and ride this, because I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's just a fantastic roller coaster. There's so many different elements to it. I feel like every single time I ride this, I get off being like, man, yeah, that was the best ride here. I will say the line is always stupid long, rightfully so, but it is annoyingly long every single time. So I always just end my day here. The last ride of the day, I'll just hop in the line, and the park will usually be closed by the time I get out. But that also makes it fun, because then you get to ride it at nighttime, which takes up the experience like tenfold. I couldn't recommend it enough, and that's why it's S tier. It is incredible. VelociCoaster, one of the other newer rides at Universal. Now this one... VelociCoaster is good. If you like roller coasters and you want some thrill, I'll tell you what, this is incredible. From the top hat where you can see the whole park to doing a barrel roll over the water, this is insane. 2 speed boosts, like this is top of the top roller coaster. Easily the best roller coaster at the parks. I think there's more to Hagrid's in terms of the environment and things that happen in the ride. Surprise elements, you can say. That's why I still think Hagrid's is above it, but it is an incredible coaster. I mean, I gotta go on it every time. It is thrilling, it's intense. There's so many different elements to it. It's smooth, it doesn't hurt my neck. There's lockers in the queue. It's chef's kiss, beautiful. And lastly, we have VillainCon. This is the newest ride. It's another Minions ride. They've kind of redid the whole Minions land. This one is a miss though for me. It's also extremely overstimulating like Transformers. And you're on a moving walkway that you just stand on with your gun and you're shooting things. So first of all, you're not sitting, which is crazy to me. You're walking all day and your rides are the time to sit, and then you don't sit, which is super upsetting. The objective is also kind of confusing and overwhelming. Like, I don't even really know what I'm supposed to be doing. You're just kind of shooting at a million things that are moving on the screen. And then you also don't really know your score afterwards. Like, there's no value to it. I think there's something to do with like having the app. And like, I have the app, but I've never even been able to figure it out. So I don't know what their objective was. I think maybe for kids it's fun. It's pretty overstimulating. There's a lot going on, but like, I don't know. It's C tier. It's gonna go there, but it's not great. And obviously we're not doing this one because I don't have a child. I'm glad I made the switch to move the original B tier to A tier, because this is correct. This is the correct tier list for Universal Orlando rides. If you disagree, you're wrong, and I'm sorry. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know where I'm wrong. I'm not actually wrong, but where you think I'm wrong. And yeah, what's your S tier row? What's your S tier row? Because I think mine is pretty solid. Full vlog next week. Don't miss it. Until then, see you later.